I'm going to start with Spencer Burford because Burford has been a revelation at right guard, and he's legit. I busted out the UTSA film, last week, just to take a closer look. And this guy he's a bulldozer. He's a tremendous run blocker with almost ideal measurables when you look at arm length and the power that he generates, and the way he's played has been absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And you got to get lucky sometimes. I'm not saying it was luck because I'm sure their scouts did a hell of a job on this guy, but I'm just saying sometimes you got to get that day 3 pick that is a plug and play player to when you're building a championship football team. And maybe this is the break they needed because this guy doesn't look like a 4th round pick.
No, he's been one of the stars of camp. When he first came into the media room and introduced himself and had his first press conference, standing next to him, I thought, wow, this guy's the next right tackle of the 49ers. He's going to take over for Mike McGlinchey next year. He looks like that kind of an athlete, real long, tall, and then moving into right guard, and apparently he's strong enough. You wonder, like, 22-year-old, can you really can you hold up against a 320-pound guy like Javon Kinlaw? So far, the answer is yes. And I just want to see if it holds over into the preseason as well, because so far he's been passing all of his tests.
The thing that jumps out to me, Grant, is that, there's 2 kinds of bodies at an offensive line. There's the guy who's 260 and lifts weights to 290, or he's 270 and he lifts weights and he's 310. Your walk around weight is important as an offensive lineman because the job's hard enough. The recovery ability in football, you can't spend 4.5 hours in the weight room every day. Your playing weight's got to be in the same neighborhood as your walk around weight, or it's just not going to work. And you can tell this kid's weight is natural. He's going to be able to put on 10 pounds going forward just naturally, but his walk around weight is he's almost a perfect specimen for right guard, especially in a movement scheme where you want guys with long limbs, but you want them to have movement ability. This guy's got long limbs and movement ability, and he played in a scheme where they really, emphasized the run, and I think he's a great scheme fit. So Spencer Burford, I'll be watching you tonight for sure.
When you were talking about offensive linemen who their walking around weight is way lower than their playing weight, guess who popped into my head immediately?
I was thinking Tony Mandarich, from way back, who
How about Mike McGlinchey?
Yeah.
If you see him in March, man, that guy looks like he's 260. Yeah,
Mike McGlinchey looks like like a tight end at times, like a big tight end, and then what is I've heard the Forster talk about McGlinchey's weight, saying that he likes him lighter. Is that what it is? Or he likes him heavier? He likes him heavier, I think.
I think you want him heavier because if he's 290, he gets run over. Anyway, let's move on to. I don't know if we're going to see Mike McGlinchey in this game. I want to watch the left guard, Aaron Banks.
It's a good one too.
Burford have taken all the reps with the starters. Burford has played really well. Banks has not. Banks has had moments that are good and in moments that are not. In one-on-ones, he can't anchor. In the run game, it seems like he can move people. But in pass protection, he pops up and gets moved back. He's not Mike Upati by any means. I don't understand. So I really want to see this because if he continues to be inconsistent or struggle, they can't start him. And I think there's much more for him to prove than for Burford at this point. So, like, if he struggles again, like he's been struggling in camp, then all of a sudden, week 1, we just might see Daniel Brunskill starting at left guard because they know what Brunskill can do. He can play every position kind of the same mediocre way. Banks, we don't even know if he's mediocre.
And obviously the big, the competition is at center with Brendel and Brunskill and maybe others. Is Zakel in this mix? Is Poe in this mix? What if Brendel and Brunskill look ordinary? Or what if what you just said, what if Banks struggles and they got to move Brunskill out of that center competition to left guard? Who gets put in to that competition? I've heard great things about Poe. I saw him move the veteran defensive tackle Spence, who's very strong, and for Poe to move Akeem Spence that way, or is that it? Spence. Akeem Spence.
Yes.
I mean, Poe's got real anchor ability when he locks his feet and really anchors and then fires those hands and kind of bows his back. He gives no ground. I've seen him do it 15 times in this camp, and I've never seen anybody uproot him from that spot. I saw the gigantic guy from Georgia who's in Philly's camp. Forget his name, Jordan Davis, and he moved a center back like 4 different ways.
He was Tim Jurgens.
Yeah, I mean, the guy was on roller skates. He kept trying to reset, and he kept getting pushed back, and he had to reset again. I haven't seen Poe after he sets been moved back by anybody. So that's great strength. And if he's got that kind of strength, he might be a player at the center spot if they don't like what they see at a Brendel or Brunskill.
Or guard. I mean, really, Jason.
Or guard, or he can take over for Banks.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's been the second string left guard in camp. So he's breathing down Banks' neck. Of course, Brunskill could slide in, but we know Brunskill. Brunskill is not good enough. They would love him to be a backup, not a starter. Poe, all of a sudden, is intriguing. Like Burford, he's a much smaller version. He looks like Shaq Mason, who was a starting guard.
Yeah, that's a good call.
For a while. So I want to
really a sawed-off guy. The other guy, what's Jalen Moore's physical status?
Hurt. I don't know.
He's not going.
I don't think he's going. I haven't seen him practice in a while. Any other? I think I got. Oh,
he's also Zakel. I mean, Zakel is powerful and he's smart.
Terrible.
I don't know what he's going to look like in the games, but something tells me he's going to be a better player in games than practice.
Maybe because he's been so bad in practice. I mean, in the one-on-ones, he just doesn't look strong enough. Poe looks strong enough, at least now. Jake Brendel, big debut for him because he's winning the competition for center right now. And if he can just look competent, not turn the ball over, not give up any sacks, this is his job to win. If not, they'll slide in Brunskill. So Brendel, this is his whole career, his whole life built up to this game tonight. Seriously,
it's amazing. It's his Super Bowl. I mean, that's what makes these games, I think, so compelling. Is that they're forgettable games for Trent Williams. Yeah. But 2 spots over is a guy who's playing his Super Bowl.
Yes, this is the biggest game of Jake Brendel's life. That's not an exaggeration. He started maybe 3 games in his career in the regular season. This is his first of 3 auditions to get an actual starting job in the NFL. Huge. I hope pulling for him because he went to UCLA.
I'll say this too. This might be the spot. If Brendel, Brunskill, Poe, if some of these guys don't look good, this would be the spot. I think they would go outside the organization for help. There may be a guy in the league that they can get that they could plug in the interior if they don't like what they've got. And so that I think they're going to be evaluating not just what their interior guys are doing, but I bet you there's somebody in the Niner pro personnel department who is taking a very keen look at, let's say, a half dozen other players at that spot around the league playing this weekend.
Right. We know that the offensive line coach wants it to be Brendel. So Brendel has the inside track. He has to not blow it. He has to not fumble this one. Let's see if he doesn't fumble it.